America, we are back, baby. Welcome to a very special episode of America Unfiltered. We have a great show for you tonight, everyone. We are going to be going over the Nicholas J. Fuentes and the Tucker Carlson collaboration. Who thought this would happen? I mean, I was doing the show yesterday, and when I was going over the headlines at the end of the show, I saw it in the headlines that Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes dropped a show together. So we're going to go over that today. Huge news. Nick is now in the mainstream. I mean, it is undeniable that Nick is breaking back into the mainstream. Full force, total Groyper domination. Total Groyper victory declared. This is awesome. So we'll talk about all this today. Before we get into all the Nick and Tucker stuff, I do want to briefly go over just a couple small things that are happening around the world right now and in America. First, I want everybody to be aware of what's happening in Jamaica. They are experiencing a Category 5 hurricane today. And I've been through 3 of them, so I know how bad they are. So we should all pray for everybody in Jamaica that they are able to make a full recovery, because it is a very, very scary thing to be in a Category 5. Like I said, I've personally been in 3 of them. I was at the one in Fort Myers, and then the 2 that briefly went by Fort Myers. So 1 really bad one, and 2 that didn't hit me as bad, but I still felt the impact of them. So I want to show some clips of stuff that's happening in Jamaica. And I also do want to talk about something weird happening in the Charlie Kirk case. And it's something that Candace didn't bring up today, although I'm sure she will later this week. It's something you're not really hearing much about in the media, but Tyler Robinson's alleged trans boyfriend, Lance Twigs, is now missing. 6 weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Lance Twigs is just completely missing. So there's a lot of speculation going on there. We'll talk about that very briefly, but the majority of the show is going to be talking about Nick and Tucker Carlson. We'll be reacting to some clips, and I want to show you the reactions on X because people are fucking seething. I mean, people are pissed about this, and it's crazy. You give a guy a voice, and they act like the world is ending. So we're going to go over all this stuff today. I'm going to bring you guys over to our big screen. Before I do, please remember to like, smash the follow button, smash the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the show. We'll be reading comments at the end of the show today. And if you're watching on Spotify, please remember to rate the show 5 stars. I'm going to bring you guys right over here. This is our first thing we're going to talk about. Transgender boyfriend of Charlie Kirk's killer, Lance Twigs, has just gone completely missing. And there's a little article here. Let's click on that. I haven't even read the article yet. Let's see. Charlie Kirk suspect's trans lover, Lance Twigs, goes missing 6 weeks after political assassination. X out of this shitty ad. So many fucking pop-ups. Oh, my lord. The transgender lover of Charlie Kirk's alleged killer has seemingly vanished from his hometown 6 weeks after the assassination. Lance Twigs, 22, has been on the down low since his boyfriend, Tyler Robinson, allegedly shot the TPUSA founder dead. Keep getting pop-ups. They're not popping up on your screen. Oh my, they're fucking good. This is so fucking annoying. All right, we're not even gonna... Let's see. I mean, this is fucking painful to read because of the pop-up. So we're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna talk about it for a second. Fuck you, New York Post, for your advertisements. Fuck you guys. You guys suck. Literally, fuck you guys. Like, I can't even read a fucking article without 40 fucking ads popping up on my fucking screen. Fuck you guys. Yeah, fuck the New York Times for that. But what I think I mean, there's 1 of 2 possibilities. Let's lay those out first. The 2 possibilities are that Lance Twigs completely left, is out and hiding somewhere out of fear of retribution or fear of prosecution. And the second option is that Lance Twigs is at a CIA black site getting the shit smacked out of him till there's some answers given. Or the third option is that Lance Twigs has been suicided, and maybe they didn't kill themselves, but maybe whoever was involved that seems to be hiding some evidence killed Lance Twigs. I think the most likely scenario is Lance Twigs is just in hiding, I don't think there's enough evidence to point to any of the other possibilities yet. I will keep on the lookout for those, but as of now, it seems like Lance Twigs is most likely just in hiding, which is in itself very weird as well. I mean, there's a lot of really weird details surrounding the Charlie Kirk case. And the more and more time that goes on, the more it seems like there might have been some outside influence in it. I'm still not fully convinced that it was Israel, but I am more convinced today than I was a week ago. After seeing the reaction from the chief of staff on Candace's stream, when he just picked up the phone literally less than 1 second after the shot rang out, or the shot struck Charlie Kirk. Very, very weird. So we're going to keep on the lookout for this. We're going to keep watching this closely. I don't want to speculate too much, and I do want to move on with the show because we do have a very important thing to talk about with this Tucker and Nick thing. I do want to briefly go over here, talk about two things, one thing involving Israel and one thing involving Jamaica. We already discussed what's happening in Jamaica, but we'll go over it here. But this morning, the IDF started striking Gaza City again. Massive explosions were heard. They said that Hamas was firing at them. Still has not been completely confirmed. We know Israel lied the last time and said they were shot at, by Hamas with an RPG. But really, it was just two IDF soldiers running over a bomb and accidentally killing themselves. So we really can't trust them until there's actual evidence to show that Hamas was shooting at them. And the Trump administration urged Israel not to take drastic measures that could lead to the collapse of the ceasefire, but that didn't seem to hold up. This image they posted, it didn't seem to be the image from today. That was an old image that was claimed to be recent by Israeli outlet. But the airstrikes were continuing for hours, and Hamas officials said the group is committed to a ceasefire, as Israel was still attacking them. And I do want to go over to the Jamaica stuff really quick to wrap up the Israel stuff, I guess. Israel has now broken the ceasefire over 80 times. I don't know the exact amount of bombs they dropped today. We'll find out, and it will add to that list. But it is very clear that they cannot be trusted to negotiate with. The state of Israel cannot be trusted at all by our government, by us. Our politicians should not be trusting them, but they are choosing to. They are being paid to trust them. They are being paid to lie for them and lobby for them and take their side no matter what. APEC makes sure of that. Miriam Adelson made sure of that. But right now, we need to put America first in every way. That's Nick Fuentes' message as well. America first over everything. And it is not America first to continue to support Israel as they constantly will break this ceasefire, as they constantly make it more difficult for the United States to have real negotiating power in the Middle East. They are making it very hard for Donald Trump to keep this train rolling because he is losing support every day from the men on the right, the young men, the young disaffected sons of the West who feel like they have not only been replaced in their nation, but they've been robbed, looted, and raped by our government and by a foreign nation the size of New Jersey. They take billions of dollars a year from us while people are struggling to get jobs, while people are struggling to get paid decent wages, while people can't afford rent and car payments and credit card payments. So we need a full separation from Israel. I've spoken about this many times, and I will continue to speak about it, but this is just further evidence that we cannot trust them. I do want to go on to everything happening in Jamaica. We're just going to briefly go through some of these clips. I can't just not touch on it because it is such big news. I would like to just do the Nick and Tucker stuff only this show, but I'm not going to push this off until tomorrow because it is massive news that's happening. So these are videos I'm just slowly scrolling through so you guys can see stuff that's happening in Jamaica. The flooding, I mean, that's absurdly high, the flooding. You can see the wind gusts. You see the flooding, you see the wind. This is the medical facility. Flooding as well. This is a picture from during the hurricane. I mean, look at that. All these buildings do not have roofs anymore. There's shit flying everywhere. It is obviously a very, very scary, very dangerous scenario for everybody who is there right now. So we should all say prayers tonight. for all the residents in Jamaica who are going through this. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I remember seeing that on TV when I had to evacuate the Fort Myers area when I used to live there. It is very scary to be dealing with that. We really need to pray that the loss of life is extremely minimal and that everybody is able to make a swift recovery, because that's very important. I do want to go on. Like I said, the main focus of today's show is going to be on Nicholas J. Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. So let me get this pulled up. I got a bunch of clips. Ooh, actually, one more hurricane thing I'll show you guys real quick. Look at this. This is from the eye of the hurricane. Crazy video. Let's take the audio out. That's pointless. That's pretty crazy to see. Skip a little forward in it. See if there's anything. Like I said, we're just zipping through the beginning of the show. You know, it's not that I don't want to talk about that. It's just this is the news that people want to hear about today. This is what's important. So let's see, where should we start? Let's start with some clips, and then after the clips, we'll go over the media reactions. I mean, every single major media figure who is involved in the Israel discussion is commenting on this. And not only are they commenting on it, they are shitting on Nick and Tucker. They're saying that Nick and Tucker are shitting on them. They are saying that Tucker gave Nick a path back into the mainstream. Breaking news, sweetheart. He's been in the mainstream. Nick has made his way back into the mainstream before Tucker. But yes, this was a massive, massive step. So let's watch some of these clips real quick. This is one clip we'll start with right here.
I'm not one of these doomsday sayers. You know, there's a lot of people that forever, you know, the sky's falling every day. But I really feel like the things that concern me the most, it's the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Seemed like we crossed a Rubicon there.
I agree with that.
Because he's just a conservative guy, relatively moderate, expressing his opinions. He's not the president. He's not a politician. And it wasn't just that he got shot. It was what happened afterward, which is that 100,000 liberals went on TikTok and celebrated. And that shows that how can you integrate or harmonize with people that hate you that much? They see some, you know, and I understand that liberals thought he was a jerk. Like maybe he was a little rude or something like that. And he really wasn't. I mean, he was pretty patient as they come.
I just tried to fill in for him last week and immediately snapped at some kid and threatened to beat him up and went crazy. And I had said a prayer for patience, by the way, and I still couldn't handle it. So, you know, Charlie Kirk was a remarkably even-keeled, patient, decent man.
Yes. And yeah, so whatever their perception of him was, to see him get his face blown up in front of everybody like that, and the first reaction of someone in the crowd who is present, some guy with the beard jumps up and celebrates. Did you see this?
No.
Some liberal kid in the audience jumps up and says, "All right."
I literally can't handle it. I'm so upset.
How did Tucker not see that?
By it, I haven't looked at anything.
It's disgusting. And I saw that and said, yeah, like, there's no putting the genie back in the lamp here. That was one. The other thing I'm really worried about is what's happening at these ICE detention centers, where it's happening not far from where I live in Broadview, Illinois, where they set up an ICE detention facility, and the administration is rounding these people up, which I support, but they're doing it in a very provocative way. They're broadcasting it. They're making hype edits on Twitter of like these raids on apartment complexes, which I think are very cool, but it's somewhat provocative. And Antifa showing up. In order to protect ICE, the administration's putting DHS. Well, now they're protesting the DHS presence, and the administration of the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago are telling Chicago police, don't help ICE. And they're encouraging the protesters. And what I see there is like a level of tension that just keeps increasing.
Yes.
And there's leadership. There's civilian leadership on both sides. Like the governor and mayor, who are Democrats, won't back down versus a Republican president. There's a security division too, the police versus ICE, the police versus DHS. There's a constitutional question about the federal supremacy, you know, and I see all the ingredients of like a low boil civil conflict, full blown civil war. And I'm not that guy, but I see all the ingredients there for that to happen. So I'm deeply concerned about where that will go.
How would you handle it if you were in charge? If you're the president, what do you do about that?
I think maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side. They have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot challenge the left and let them do their thing, or you can utterly confront them and defeat them and remove hope from the equation. If you resist, you will be arrested. Like, this is an insurrection. There's 10 million people here illegally. We're getting them out. You're rioting. You're going to jail too. Like, it has to be crushed. But if you do anything less than that, if you do in the middle, all you're doing is antagonizing and feeding the other side. And if they think there's a chance they can win, they will get bolder and stronger and they'll start to rally. And that's
a key thing. A lot of people on the left think they can win. They think that they're going to stop the deportations and they are going to put so much pressure on Trump and ICE that it will stop. And what Nick's saying is completely true. We need to crush them. We need the government to literally crush their spirits in this and show them that if you are acting violently, if you are trying to stand in front of ICE cars, if you are trying to ram ICE cars, if you are doing anything of that nature, you not only will be arrested, but you'll be charged to the fullest extent.
When it's sort of like people think it's close or like it's contentious, that's when it breathes. That's when oxygen is fed to this kind of fire. So if I were Trump, I would say screw 200 National Guard, like arrest the mayor of Chicago, like arrest the governor, shut it down, like make it clear, like Washington, you know, bring in the troops and say the federal government is supreme. The immigration law is the law of the land. If you're not on board with that, you're going to jail. If you attack ICE or box them in with your car, you're going to jail for a long time. Anything less than that, you might as well just not even bark up that tree at all.
Nick Fuentes, thank you very much.
That was how the interview ended. If you guys didn't watch the interview, what the fuck are you guys doing with your lives? Go watch it. It's so great. We're going to keep going through clips, though. This is another clip. I got a bunch of clips from AF Post, some from Gamaldus. We'll go through almost all of them. Talk about them each a little bit. I think that Nick does have the power to be the president in the next 20 years. I actually think it's inevitable. America first is the only way America will actually succeed. And Nick is the only real one pushing that right now. There are some other people who are, but Nick is the most blatantly honest. He is somebody who is so well-spoken, not afraid to speak his mind. And Nick has he pretty much has all the keys to get this done.
Going on about the Jews like helps the neocons. That's
well,
what
about my views do you think are unreasonable? If yours are reasonable,
I think again, I don't think it's cucky. I think it's reality to say that guilt is not inherited. Blood guilt is bad. One of the reasons that I'm mad about Gaza is because the Israeli position is everyone who lives in Gaza is a terrorist because of how they were born, including the women and the children. That's not a Western view. That's an Eastern view. That's a non-Christian. That's totally incompatible with Christianity and Western civilization. They say, oh, we're the defenders of Western civilization. Not with that attitude. You're not. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
And so I hate that attitude. It's genocidal. The current claims that I'm a cancer, from Ben Shapiro, whatever, we need to be excised from the body of conservatism is a genocidal position that it basically encourages violence, as they well know. The whole thing I hate. Mm-hmm. So like anytime you say a whole group of people is responsible for the sins of some of its members, like I'm out.
Yeah, but that's not my view.
It's not. Okay. So tell me
They always try and frame it like Nick says it's all the Jews. And I've had people even say that to me. They're like, you're just a blatant Jew hater. And it's like, I urge anybody to find one single clip where I blame everything on all Jews. It doesn't exist. And same thing with Nick. It's like, Nick will constantly specify that it is organized Jewry that bothers him. It is the Israel lobby. It is people who are Jewish who work against America's interests. But no, it is not all Jews. And that is something that the media misrepresents very purposefully.
Your views, like, rather than, you're one of those people, one of the reasons I wanted to meet you is you're one of those people who is defined by clips.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people also.
Yes.
Right? So I get it. So I'm going to just shut up and you tell me what you actually believe.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I mean, and I appreciate you saying that because that's just the reality of the media environment we're in. So I don't expect you to know all my views, but I mean, as far as the Jews are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion, identity. And let me give you like a perfect example. So you say on your show that we need to treat Israel like any other country. And I sort of understand that in principle because Israel is another foreign country.
Yeah.
But Israel is unlike every other country in the sense that because the Jewish people are in a diaspora all over the world, there are significant numbers of Jews in Europe, but also in the United States. And because of their unique heritage and story, which is that they're a stateless people, they're unassimilable, they resist assimilation for thousands of years. And I think that's a good thing. And now they have this territory in Israel. There's a deep religious affection for the state. It's bound up in their identity, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the promise of the land, all these things. So let's say in the United States, for example, somebody like a Sheldon Adelson, he's not Israeli. Is he an ideological neocon? Does he believe in the promise of democratic globalism? I don't think necessarily. His heart is in Israel. And it's because he is a proud Jewish person. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you are a Jewish person in America, you're sort of, and again, it's not because they're born, but it's sort of a rational self-interest politically to say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This is not really my home. My ancestral home is in Israel. There's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. And I would say on top of that, for the international Jewish community. They're extremely organized. And many of them are critical of Israel or Israel's current government or the project of Israel. But I guess what they have in common, unlike, let's say, like Singapore, for example, is that they have this international community across borders, extremely organized, that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. And there's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. No other country has a strong identity like that, this religious blood and soil conviction, this history of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted, and in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans because the Romans destroyed the temple. That's why Eric Weinstein goes to the Arch of Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture. We don't think like that as Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do. And so I guess that's really, and I don't think that's me saying the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. I don't think that's me being hateful. I don't think that's me being collectivist. I think that's understanding that identity politics, whether you love it or hate it, whatever you feel about it, it's a reality that we live in a world of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks. These identities mean something to us and they mean things to each other, and we can't sort of wish them away. And it feels like white people and Christians are the only ones that do that.
Yep. Yeah, another good clip. Nick can explain these things so much better than anybody else, but it's kind of what we say a lot on this show as well. It's the people in America who really don't have any ties to Israel, who make it seem like if they didn't have Israel, or if we didn't fund Israel, that it's the end of the world, that it's the most anti-Semitic thing in the world. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just bar nonsense. We're going to go on, though, to the next clip here. This is a clip where Nick Fuentes describes the man who tried to kill him. A lot of you have heard this story before. This is actually a very, very crazy story. What I was looking at on my phone a couple minutes ago as well is Nick just put on his Telegram that he's going live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time. Probably means like 9:15, 9:30. But so I'm gonna try and get through the show relatively faster today, so I can get it up before he does it, and so that the premiere can go before his. I don't like to stream at the same time as him. I want everyone to be paying attention to that. Not that anyone's picking this over that, but you guys get what I'm saying.
I'm doing my show like normal, and I'm reaching the end of the show, and I see out of the corner of my eye, I get an alert from my Ring doorbell camera that somebody's at the front door. And so I'm reading through my super chats. I'm going through live
You're
chat
on the
messages. Yeah, I'm live. And, I'm working through the messages, and I'm keeping an eye on it. And I see that this guy has a loaded gun. The guy's
Sorry, laugh.
Yeah, well.
So you're live, and
Yes.
you see that there's a guy with a gun outside your door.
Yes. He's got a motorcycle helmet and a backpack. He's got a gun drawn, and he's knocking on the door yelling. And the thing is, I didn't want to tip him off that I knew he was there, because I thought, I don't want him to get the drop on me or something. I just didn't want to give him any information about, because I don't know if he's listening to my show. If I start freaking out or cancel the show, I don't know. Maybe he knows more about my movements inside. So I keep the show going for like a minute, and I wrap it up very quickly. I finish the show. My producer comes running in, and I say, "Who is that? What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, I called the cops. They're here. The guy's gone." I said, "Okay, good." So I start getting changed out of my suit, and I hear gunshots go off outside.
Damn.
Yeah. And I literally jump to the ground, because I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. And I step outside for a minute after the dust kind of settles, and there's like 10 cop cars all up and down the street, and they have the whole block locked down. Police tape everywhere. There's like a dozen cops. Like I said, the whole block is shut down. The alley is shut down. And they go, "Get back inside, get back inside." We have no idea what's going on. We have no idea what happened. And they wouldn't let me or my producer leave until the morning. That's how late they were there. And finally, at the end of the night, after all the cops left, I came out in the very early morning.
Did no one come and explain any of this to you?
No, nobody said anything. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And finally, I go out in the morning and I asked the guy, "Oh, okay, what happened?" He told me the story. And so it turns out that it's this young guy. He's 23 years old, white nerd, short guy. He was at U of I, University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, about 2 hours south of where I live. He killed 3 people earlier in the day. He went to his roommate's house, college roommate's house, killed his roommate, killed the sister, the guy's mother, got in his car and drove directly to my house, parked outside my house, got out a .22 pistol and an automatic crossbow. Weird choice. And he knocked on the door, which is where I saw him. He went around the house. He tried the back door, tried the front door, and the cops pulled up. He took off running through the gangway, hopped the fence, ran into the neighbor's house. I guess he went into the neighbor's basement because the door was unlocked. He was hiding from the police. He shot 2 of their dogs, which is devastating. He runs back outside, and the cops see him. He shoots at the cops. The cops shot him in the face, and he dies on the spot.
What was his motive?
They never told me. To this day, I have no idea.
They never told you?
No.
So what contact did you have with the police after this?
They came by about a week later. Illinois State Police came to retrieve the Ring camera footage of the whole incident. And so they had me download that onto a thumb drive. And that's it. I never heard from the cops, never heard from the government.
Not at all?
No, nothing.
A guy comes to murder you. He's murdered 3 other people and 2 dogs. He gets shot to death and no one bothers to tell you anything?
Nope, nothing.
Is it really a country at this point?
No.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
No, yeah, we do not have a country at this point. We have a lawless jungle filled with a ton of animals who want to kill us regularly. I really think Nick is the most well-spoken person. You couldn't pick a better person to lead the America First movement than Nicholas J. Fuentes. I mean, what he has done so far, even outside of this interview, with all his other collaborations, his show itself, it is incredible. He is one of the smartest people, very high IQ individual, very skilled speaker. And not only that, he is so knowledgeable on all these subjects that he speaks about in geopolitics, which is one of the most complicated and evolving subjects ever. So you really have to hand it to him because at such a young age, he is accomplishing more than a lot of people in the media accomplish in their lifetimes. And he has done it from a position of cancellation. I mean, from the time he was 18, they blackballed him out of politics, basically, and he's just making it back in almost 10 years later now. So it is really incredible, the story and journey of Nick Fuentes. If you guys haven't seen his documentary, The Most Canceled Man in America, it's on YouTube for free. It's on Amazon Prime. You guys definitely got to go check it out. But we're going to keep reacting to these clips, watching these Nick clips. I think that it was a really, really strong interview for Nick. And it's something that it's really going to wake a lot of the normies up. I mean, a lot of people who didn't even know who Nick was watched Tucker Carlson. And same thing, when he inevitably gets on Joe Rogan, it's going to set him on a path that cannot be stopped.
If everything is inherited, then there's no hope for the continuation of America. Mm-hmm. Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't think it's genetically inherited. And what you're saying about putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate interest, yes, that's absolutely the case. And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly. That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that the main challenge to that, a big challenge to that, is organized Jewry in America. I don't think Bill Ackman is capable of that. I don't think Sheldon Adelson is capable of that. I don't think Yoram Hazony is capable of that, for that matter. And many other, on the right and the left. And I see Jewishness as the common denominator. And you're right, it's not all Jewish people feel the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator. And I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. And I like what you said the other day. If you're serving in another country's military or have dual citizenship, you really can't be a part of this project.
Well, that's an easy one, but I am much more comfortable as a Christian and an American keeping it on that level because, it's easy to just set universal rules that apply to everyone, not just the Jews or the Christians or the anybody, just like Americans can only serve in the U.S. military or they lose their passport. I mean, I don't know. That's not hard. And I don't know. Why not just say that?
Say what?
That. Why not make every statement about how Americans ought to behave applicable to all Americans? Like it's the defense of universal values that will hold the country together and the emphasis on parochial group values that will break it apart inevitably.
Because this is a particular issue and it's acute. Like I said, I think they are unique in that way. I think that's a unique issue, especially in the Republican Party, especially in the conservative scene. So
how would you like this all to be resolved?
What I would like is for the U.S. government to not be influenced by these kinds of foreign allegiances, not with money that comes from, American citizens like Sheldon Adelson, not from foreign lobbyists. So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship. Like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees with those things. So that's kind of what gets me a little bit annoyed. It's like these are like America First, the concept. It's the most popular, self-evidently true idea you could have. Like, don't let foreign powers, especially tiny ones far away, control your country. Like, of course not. Everyone agrees with that on both sides.
Yeah.
So
I bet our founders would literally go over to Israel and kick some ass if they knew we were owned by a much smaller nation. I mean, they literally beat the shit out of the British for it. They would not stand for the pussies that we have today. And there are a lot of pussies in this country, but it's really about the way our government acts. They act like complete pussies, like captive animals who don't know any better.
Trick is not to let that idea get subverted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think we agree on that.
But it's subverted when they're like, that's hate. No, that's hate.
Yeah, but they're always going to say that, Tucker. They're always going to say it's hate. Like, they call you hateful and anti-Semitic, and, you know, I don't think Nick's anti-Semitic. I don't think you're anti-Semitic. I think we are just against the...
If everything is inherited,
having that much power.
then
Oop, I didn't realize that started playing. Sorry, guys. We only got a few more clips. We got 2 more 5-minute clips here. Then we have just a few shorter ones I want to show you guys. Yeah, I really just want to go through all the different highlights of the episode. These aren't the only highlights. Pretty much the entire interview was a massive highlight, massive 2-hour, 15-minute long highlight. So again, everyone go check it out if you haven't watched it yet. I am showing you a lot of the highlights here, and like I said, we're just going to go over them, talk about them a bit. I think this is a really important interview that Nick is breaking back into the mainstream at this speed and this rate. It's amazing.
I tweeted to Ben Shapiro. I said, you know, I've never seen anything on the Daily Wire that's actually critical of Israel. And he quote tweets me. And at this time, I have 1,000 followers on Twitter.
How old are you?
I'm 18. I'm a freshman.
Still a freshman in college, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is even before I started my show. And I don't know, I probably got 100 likes on this tweet. It wasn't a viral tweet. He quote tweets me and says, to accuse a Jew of dual loyalty is the surest sign of anti-Semitism. And like, this is how it sort of begins. And I see this tweet. And by the way, that was on Christmas Eve in 2016.
He immediately called you an anti-Semite.
Mm-hmm. So I'm driving to Christmas Eve Mass with my family. And I see on Twitter, the notification comes up, Ben Shapiro quote tweets me, calling me an anti-Semite. And I was like, what is this? Like, why is this guy attacking me? You know, because I don't have a platform at this time. I'm not an influential guy or anything. And so then I put out another tweet similar. I said something like, if you're China first, you should live in China. If you're Mexico first, you should live in Mexico. If you're Israel first, maybe you should go live in Israel. And again, he quote tweets me and says, you're an anti-Semite.
That same night?
This was, I think, a couple weeks later. Happened a little bit further down the line. And so...
Were you surprised that he knew you were?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised at why he cared.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, how does he even know who I am or what I'm about? And it turned out that Cassie Dillon, she had texted him earlier and she wanted him to take me under his wing. She texted him after that debate and said, you know, you really like this guy. He's amazing. He did this great debate. She goes, but he's a little too pro-Trump. He's a little too Trumpy. And he goes, I'll take a look. And so I guess the two of them were kind of like grooming me in a sense. They wanted me to go maybe and be a Daily Wire or maybe looking me as a potential conservative activist or influencer. And so they started paying attention to me, and the more critical of Israel I was, I started to get this really intense pushback from the both of them and from a lot of the people at Daily Wire.
Why do you think, so you're an 18-year-old college freshman, you're clearly talented and you're engaged, you're really interested, and you ask not crazy questions, like, what is this? Mm-hmm. And rather than explain it, they just call you a racist, call you an anti-Semite. Like, that's the first response. That seems like the least effective, well, it turned out to be not very effective in your case, but that seems like the least effective thing you could do. Why do you think they did that?
Well, I think that you have to look at it not in retrospect, because hindsight is 20/20. And so looking back, you could say they made a terrible mistake because look at sort of what they provoked or what they catalyzed. But at that time, you got to consider, I'm 18 with no following, with no network. I'm coming from the suburbs of Chicago. My parents didn't go to college. I have no connections. And so for them, it was very easy that if they detected that a promising young guy was going to become anti-Israel in the conservative movement, they could crush that person easily and grind them under the heel. So they sort of were alerted, oh, there's a precocious young guy that isn't on board with Israel. We'll keep an eye on him. And if he gets too vocal or popular, we'll cut him down. We'll crush him. Because at this time, as you know, in 2017, it's a very different time. 2016, 17, any criticism or dissent on the subject was a death sentence. You became radioactive, unhireable, blacklisted, and that's exactly what happened. And basically from then on, it was just this escalating series of blacklisting, censorship, hit pieces, rumors to try to ostracize me from the movement. And
while you're a college student?
Yes. As a freshman, yeah.
So looking back,
they knew how effective he was early. They had to try and kneecap him early because they knew. I mean, if Nick was in the mainstream for the last 10 years, able to say all the things he was saying, this would be a much different country right now, a much better country, much more aligned country.
With that 2020 hindsight, I mean, Ben Shapiro seems like a big part of your political evolution.
Yes.
You went from a fan / acolyte to an opponent and then just pivoted against everything that he believes.
Yeah, it was because it was this new dialectic that Trump forced.
Yeah.
Trump planted the seed.
And the seed was America first.
Yes.
So once you accept that, a lot of the way we're doing things becomes impossible to support or justify.
Right. The contradiction becomes apparent. It gets moved to the center and it becomes unignorable if you're consistent.
Yeah, once you start putting America first, you realize it's impossible to support a lot of the bullshit our country funds. A lot of it. A lot of the lobbying, a lot of the foreign aid, a lot of the
I tweeted to Ben Shapiro.
I said, this keep happening. Every time I scroll past the clip, it keeps just auto-playing. Sounds on. This will be the last long clip we have, and then after that, we're just going to go into some short clips. This is the last 5-minute long clip, but this is him talking about the standard of America first.
So, I won't keep torturing you with biographical questions, but I do want to, so how...
Tucker definitely didn't want to do the same old, Nick, give me your backstory questions that Nick gets in every fucking interview. And it's nice that he moved on past this, but you could see Tucker didn't even want to do that part either. He just had to for the interview.
Your show gets canceled. You drop out of college, you have no money, you decide you want to work at the Leadership Institute, which is like a conservative think tank or some organization of longstanding in Arlington, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Can't get the job there because you're worried about immigration. It's all pretty amazing. And then, where does that leave you? How did you succeed?
Well, I continued doing my show. I did it independently.
What does that mean? How do you do it? How do you do a show independently? How did you do it?
I started a YouTube
Tucker, you run a show independently. What are you talking about? You know how to do it.
Channel.
Yeah.
And I was in my parents' basement and I put up a green screen. I got my computer, webcam, and I just started going live every night in the same way that I did at RSBN. I just did it on my own channel where I had creative control over it. And at that point, I basically mounted an attack on the conservative establishment from the outside. I sort of realized that there's sort of two ways you could play this. You could infiltrate the conservative movement. I could recant all my views and apologize and pretend to be one of them and bypass the gatekeepers, the censors. I said, or I could kind of be in the wilderness and I would be alone and I would be radioactive, but I could challenge the credibility and legitimacy of the conservative movement and its claim to represent conservatives. And that was kind of the mission, was to say, no, the immovable standard is America first. I'm going to represent it. And the conservative movement is going to have to move to me. I will not move towards them. And I thought maybe I'll make money and maybe I won't, but I'm going to try it for a couple of years and I'll see how it goes.
So, but the sight picture in your head was enemy is conservative movement.
Yes.
Do you think that was a good choice?
Yes, absolutely.
Rather than but why not Antifa or, I don't know, Anti-Defamation League, or there are a lot of institutions on George Soros. Mm-hmm. Why would it be their conservative establishment? Why did you think that was important?
Well, I kind of took a page from Trump's playbook, which is that you have to, in the country, the left was hegemonic over all the institutions. And you have this organized opposition to the left and the Democrats and all the left-wing controlled institutions. And the organized opposition comes from movement conservatism, the Republican Party, Fox News, the sort of constellation of conservative institutions. And I said, the problem is, whether you go Democrat or you go Republican, you're kind of just like getting the same thing. You're getting the establishment effectively. The opposition is basically controlled or moderated. It's not authentic opposition. It's not a true alternative. And so I said, we, and by we, I mean the true America First nationalists, we need to fight for the mantle of the opposition. And then leading the opposition, then we can take the fight to the left as the conservatives, as the Republicans, whatever. But first, you have to win that internal battle among the audience that the conservatives have. Because that's really the problem, is that they have usurped. The base is extremely conservative, extremely anti-left, but the Republican Party, like those that represent them, are not at all. A lot of them are atheists, a lot of them are gay, a lot of them are feminists. And so I said, like, we kind of need to rally, like Trump did, rally the base against the establishment, and then take the fight to the left as the true alternative. And if you can win that, then you win the country. That was kind of Trump's model.
What did you see as like the most important gatekeepers that needed to be overturned, pushed aside in order to do this?
It was the Zionist Jews, like Dave Rubin, like Ben Shapiro, like Dennis Prager. It was these the guys that were really controlling the media apparatus that seemed to me to be the biggest impediment.
Fox is not a Jewish business, though.
Well, Rupert Murdoch is an ally of Netanyahu, so he's aligned.
Yeah.
And he owns the whole News Corp empire. So, and yeah, he's certainly a part of it also.
It's funny that Tucker tries to save himself a little because he was on Fox for a while. That's kind of funny. Only 30 seconds left in this clip, but yeah, I mean, Rupert Murdoch is very connected to Netanyahu.
I mean, Dave Rubin, though, does he matter?
No, not really.
Right. I mean, Dave Rubin is like, I don't know. Do people watch Dave Rubin?
They did back then. I mean, because you got to consider they were kind of like the ascendant new media, They represented the next big thing.
I mean, and Ben Shapiro seems irrelevant to me now.
Yep. Now, but back then, I guess
that's
was huge.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you won.
Oh, certainly.
Total fucking Groyper victory declared. Nick won. It's inevitable that Nick will be president, that Nick will be the number one spokesperson for the entire right one day. He already is for all the young right. So we're going to go to just our short clips now. A lot shorter than the other ones. We don't have a ton left. I'm kind of going to go through a little faster than I actually anticipated because, like I said, I didn't think Nick was going to go live this early. And I don't want my show to be airing at the same time as his. I just don't want to take away from that possibly in any way. I always try and do it earlier.
I won't keep torturing you with biographical questions, but I do want to click through how
tomorrow.
Your show gets canceled.
Why the fuck does this keep happening? Why the fuck does it keep, like, I'm not hitting play. Fuck you. Fuck you, X. Fuck you. Keeps doing that every fucking time. I don't know what's going on, guys. We're going to watch these, though. Like I said, I'm going to go through a little faster than anticipated, but I'll do a deeper breakdown tomorrow. I'll still do some commentary and talk about it, but I do want to get this out there. We're going to go into this clip.
And I'm driving home, because I'm on the no-fly list at this time. I'm driving home from Florida.
Can I ask you to pause? By no-fly list, you mean not extra scrutiny, but like not allowed to fly in airplanes in the United States?
Not allowed to fly, yes.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Did you have any felony convictions?
No.
Okay. I wasn't even aware that could happen.
Tonight that a number of American citizens, including Americans who were at the Trump rally in January, the perfectly legal Trump rally in Washington in January, have been placed by this administration on the no-fly list, meaning they cannot fly domestically.
And I'm driving home because
again, like Tucker, like maybe he didn't remember because he's reading off a fucking teleprompter back then, and maybe don't remember everything like that. But I feel like he probably remembered reporting on that, and that was just a weird little like, why are you lying about that? Or why are you acting like you don't remember? So this one was good. This was a clip where they talk about men, women, stuff like that.
I would say that when you say you don't fully understand women, to me, I feel like women are very simple in terms of...
Have you ever lived with one?
No, I haven't lived with them, but I mean, and don't get me wrong, maybe it's difficult, but I feel like they're pretty simple.
We're all pretty simple. I mean, no one's more simple than I am, but we're all pretty simple. But what I mean is, like, on a day-to-day, on the level of experience, like, you don't always understand what they're saying because it's never about what they say it's about.
Right.
And men just tend to be kind of dog-like in their straightforwardness. I'm hungry, I'm horny, whatever it is.
I disagree. I feel like men are complicated. I feel like women are like, I'm hungry, I'm horny. I feel like men are very complicated.
Really, how?
Because men are masters of the universe. Women are the universe. This is what Spengler says about them. And so I think that men have like a deep connection to things like math and space, and they want to conquer the world.
Of course.
And, things like this. And women, I feel like, are actually very primal and instinctual.
Yes.
They want security.
Earthier.
Yes. Chthonic. They're of the
100%. Never embarrassed by bodily functions. Men are so squeamish.
Yes.
Women are not at all. They give birth. No, that is absolutely true. But I mean, in the way that women present their concerns, there's almost always something that's not being fully expressed. Like, I got mad at you last night because I was pissed about something last year. That's not a male thing to do. You can't remember what happened last year.
Women will have a dream that you cheated on them, and then they'll commit domestic violence against you. Women can be fucking insane sometimes.
Right.
And so, but whatever the point, men and women talk past each other constantly.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always know what the other one is saying. And that frustration actually gives way to like great beauty over time, I would say.
I don't know. I personally find women very frustrating when they are not expressing. And I just view that as
that's the beauty of it.
I see the way I look at it is like when you look at your favorite TV shows,
right?
The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, it's like the wife is the villain because it's like the main character, if the wife could just get out of the way, would be running the show. And that's kind of how I feel like Ayn Rand, I agree with her about this. She said that the wife's role is like hero worship. The guy is the hero. The guy is supposed to be the entrepreneur, the conqueror, whatever. And the woman is really supposed to support the man's goals and be in his world. And
that's the last thing successful men need is more power worship.
One thing that I feel like is very backwards in society today is every woman, I mean, whether they're fat, ugly, whatever the fuck it is, they all think they're the prize in the relationship. Sweetheart, you're not the prize. The man is the prize. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. The man is the prize in the relationship. He's the one earning and protecting for you. When someone breaks in the house, are you going to go stop him? Are you going to go stop the intruder, sweetheart? Are you going to pull out the 45 and fix it? No, I doubt it. The man is the prize in the relationship, and it's just so backwards in society that women act like they're all prizes. Like, no, you're just a big-ass torta. We're going to go on, though. We got a few more here. This is another 2-minute long clip.
I do know, though, and this is the last criticism I will level, and it's maybe not even your fault, but I do know that, the coordinated attacks against totally reasonable questions about what's in America's interest and what's not, those are all coordinated by the Israeli government. It's all come to light now. And they're against me. I've always thought I have the world's most moderate position on Israel. Don't hate Israel. Just don't want to get involved in their wars. Don't want to pay for this. Don't want to pay for abortion on demand in a foreign country. Sorry. When we're cutting food stamps on our own, like, that's outrageous. It's not America first. That's my view. I'm not embarrassed of it at all. They are totally determined to take me out, I think because I'm reasonable. Who would disagree with that? And call me all these names, the most dangerous anti-Semite, when I'm not even an anti-Semite. And they're not doing that to you. Because, this is my view, and this is not necessarily your fault, but because they're like, Fuentes discredits the reasonable people because he's always banging on about the Jews. And so he makes everyone else look like a Nazi. And so it's like he's playing a pretty valuable role in the same way that Israel has always funded extremism throughout the Middle East, including Hamas, because it discredits the reasonable people. That's a
Jews in America hate to accept the reality that Israel funded Hamas. They never accept the reality. And when you bring it up to them in a debate, they're like, you're a Jew hater. Like, no, I'm just based in reality. And I know that I can look at statistics and facts, financial records, and it proves it. But they don't accept that. No matter how much evidence you give them, they're like, that's got to be fake. You're a Jew hater. And it's like, okay, like, do you actually want to have a reasonable discussion, or do you just want to be a dick?
fact.
Yeah. I would just say I disagree. I mean, because you said the other day, they like me. I don't know what you're talking about when you say that, because
I don't know.
Let me just kind of rebut that.
Well, by the way, I'm not saying you have anything to do with this. I'm just saying I've noticed the phenomenon.
Totally. And I just reject that because they have been messing with me for my entire adult life. I mean,
the ADL.
The ADL got me banned on YouTube. The SPLC posted my house on their website.
What do you mean posted your house?
They posted a photo of my house on their website.
How can they do that?
I guess that's a free speech thing.
The SPLC posted a picture of your house on their website?
Yes.
When?
In 2022.
Actually?
Yes, they wrote an article. They said Nick Fuentes bought a building in this city. And they said, we interviewed his neighbors and property records reveal this and that. And on the front page, the picture for the article is my house where I live.
That's crazy. And then someone showed up with a gun and tried to kill you at that house?
Yes. So that's why I say, you say, well, they're not doing this to you. It's like the ZOA, the SPLC, the ADL, the Daily Wire. All these groups have been on me for years. So that's news to me if they're really endorsing my activities.
It could just be my perception.
Mm-hmm.
They literally, I mean, if a group posts a picture of your house, I mean, there should be some way to link that to like a attempted murder charge, because someone did show up to his house and try and kill him. And it was because they all knew where he lived, because people like the SPLC and the ADL, they all doxed him. But somehow that was able to go unchecked. Because who runs the media? It's them. Let's see. This is our last clip, I think, and then we just have reactions from here. And the reactions are fucking hilarious. I mean, the reactions are like Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, Seth Dillon. I didn't check Ben Shapiro, but we'll look that up live on the show today. We'll see. But there was a lot of different reactions. And then there's just a short clip that's just kind of funny.
We had a contentious dialogue.
Well, I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know.
Tucker's got to have crazy ADHD. He's like, he starts doing his fucking weird little laugh, and he goes, I'm not a Fed. Like, okay. Like, I don't know. I really like the way they came together in this interview, and my take on it is I don't think this is the last. I think that Nick will be back on Tucker shortly, maybe even Tucker on Nick, or if they go do a debate on the Alex Jones show together or a conversation there with Alex. But I don't think this will be the last conversation between these two, and I think that's really awesome. Let's go to some reactions here. The Misfit Patriot is responding to Jason Whitlock, where he goes, Nick Fuentes' interview with Tucker was solid. What a listen. He spelled it wrong, but what a listen. And then the Misfit Patriot, who is a drunken retard who beat up an elderly disabled person, says, Jason Whitlock is most likely retarded. We'll confirm later. It's already been confirmed that you're fucking retarded, so shut the fuck up. So this is kind of a funny clip, actually. We'll watch this really quick.
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that
he's talking about when he almost got killed. Yeah, I think it's actually kind of funny. I mean, we all have a dictator. We're like, maybe. Not a bad guy. Maybe, just maybe. We all have one or two up there, throughout history that we look back on and we're like, this guy might have been a little based. This guy might have had something right. Maybe not everything, but he might have had a thing or two right. It's not a bad thing, but one of the reactions, I don't get why we're supposed to consider these people on the right. They have one issue, obsession with Jews, and no second issue. Again, this is just his bar of bullshit. Nick is more knowledgeable in every single political subject than this dumb bitch. This dumb bitch could live 100 lifetimes and Nick would still know more than her. Here's another one where this has been the main thing they're talking about right now, that all the media representatives are reacting to, the ones who aren't even Jewish, but the ones who call themselves Christian Zionists.
How do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton? I mean, I've known them all, George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I can just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody. Because like what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't like. Why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons. Very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so like I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like there's a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere like, why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
And then the response was,
how do you explain Mike Huckabee,
to say about this?
Ted Cruz?
X, why do you keep doing this to me? Why do you keep playing the fucking videos? Let's see. He goes, Brandon Tatum, the guy who was okay with the little Jewish kid spitting on him. He goes, Tucker is literally calling Charlie a heretic whom he despised, who also had a mind virus. Charlie was a Christian Zionist. This is disgusting. Not to mention he is saying this while interviewing Nick Fuentes, a clear Trump hater and anti-Semite. And then Mark Levin goes, Officer Tatum is correct. Shut the fuck up. You're both so stupid. Do I have to really explain why these guys? I mean, we all know, like, anyone who's okay with a little kid spitting on them, we could write that person off as retarded. And then Mark Levin is obviously, he's basically an Israeli media plant. That's all he is. This is a short clip from Tim Pool. I don't know if we'll show the full thing. We'll probably just go through the beginning. We are running a little late on time. Like I said, I'm trying to get this out. That's why I keep glancing over and I keep checking when I keep picking up my phone. I'm trying to check if there's any updates on this Jamaica stuff because that is an evolving situation right now.
I think a lot of the anti-Fuentes stuff is completely overblown. I think Fuentes has said some nasty things and has some bad opinions. And I'm gonna make sure everybody hears this because we are going to have him on Timcast IRL. I have had on substantially worse leftists. We have had on leftists who have called for the abortion of babies up to 9 months or even potentially after birth. I do not and will not play stupid games where you're going to tell me you have no problem with the communists we've brought on the culture war debate or Timcast IRL and then act like Nick Fuentes is the worst person imaginable. It is illegitimate. You are allowed to criticize Nick and say he's got bad ideas, and you absolutely should when he does. I don't watch a lot of what Nick says. I've seen some of his clips, and I've defended some and criticized others. And he will come on the show, and it's not a debate show, nor is it an interview show, which is why people got real mad when we said Nick was invited on the show. Now, I understand why Nick wants to go on Tucker Carlson's podcast. It's a very, very big show, and it wasn't so much that Tucker didn't pull the rug out from under us. There's nothing like that. Nick was, I think Nick went to record with Tucker on the Thursday. He was supposed to come here on Tuesday. But Nick, I guess the decision was it's a heavy lift to do all this travel at once. And so he was going to focus on the.
At this point, it just gets into speculation about why Nick did or didn't do Timcast last week. Seems like they are going to do it in the future. But I just thought it was an interesting take that Tim is he's pretty much taking the direct opposite stance that Charlie Kirk would take in the past, where like Charlie would literally interview people who, like you said, would want to abort babies past the birth point, and they would want to abort babies in the 9th month, and they would say terrible, grotesque things, but then he refused to debate someone like Nick. I thought this was very interesting. Someone goes, "Hey Grok, is the modern secular nation known as Israel the same as biblical Israel that lived in a conventional relationship with God?" No, the modern secular nation of Israel is not the same as the biblical Israel. I'm not going to read the entire thing. Then he goes, "Interesting. So does this mean that modern day Christians in the United States must bless the modern nation of Israel or else be cursed by God?" And then the reply from Grok, "No, modern Christians aren't biblically required to bless the secular state." This guy's single-handedly about to get Grok shut down again, which is pretty funny. Can you explain how under the new covenant there is no difference between Jew and Greek, that not all who descend from Israel and Israel, that faith alone makes one a seed of Abraham? Under the new covenant, Galatians 3:28 declares no distinction between Jew and Greek in Christ, as salvation unites all believers equally through faith, transcending ethnic lines. Yeah, this is, it's just, I don't know, it's pretty funny that someone is just, like, when people talk to Grok, it goes viral a lot, and this one is going to go very, very viral. I think that was all the stuff we had. Again, this is just back to the hurricane stuff. That was all the videos I had saved of the Nick interview with Tucker. I'm going to do a deeper breakdown on it tomorrow, and what I really liked, what I, was a little uneasy about, what I thought was really interesting. I talked a lot about it today. It's just like I said, we're running a little late on time today. That's my fault. I started a little late today. I had a busier day, but I do want to go on to our comments. I want to read those today. Before we do that, I want to go over what we talked about. We talked about the Tucker Nick collab, obviously. We talked about Jamaica. Everyone should be praying for them. We talked about Lance Twigs missing, which is Tyler Robinson's transgender boyfriend. But we are going to get into our comments. Please remember to like, smash the follow button, smash the subscribe button, rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Let's see. First comment. Someone goes, "They are all 10s after a bottle of vodka, comrade. Yuri's Bezmenov." He's talking about when I said, "Are these girls? What do you guys rate these girls?" And they're all 10s after a bottle of vodka. Yeah, that's funny. That's fine. I'll give you a little laugh emoji on that comment. Thank you for commenting. Someone said, "I was in an accident and almost lost my foot. I was on welfare for 2 years." Oh, shit. Hope you're okay. "As soon as I could walk again, I was back to work. It's not me to be a career... There's got to be a spelling error in there, but I get what you're saying. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who are just refusing to work. A lot of people who are refusing to work, and they're very able-bodied. They're very able to work, but they're not willing to work. And the reason they're able to get away with that is because our government subsidizes them. They put them in Section 8. They put them on SNAP benefits. I'm very glad come November 1st, that is the silver lining to this government shutdown, is that shit's ending, and we are going to... I don't know, I'm hoping a lot of the violent ones get arrested when they try and loot, because we know it's going to happen. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate you tuning in. Someone goes, "So stoked for the book, ma'am. We'll be buying that immediately. Much love, bro. Keep pushing." Thank you. I got to figure out how to fund it first. So if anyone wants to send a super chat, I'll be reading super chats before comments. I just don't get much. Let's see. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Someone says, "Is we getting our EBT?" Yeah, is we getting our EBT? Is we getting our stimulus checks? Is we getting food stamps? If you guys go Google, "is we getting," you'll see what I'm talking about. It's literally the most fucking insane thing ever. It's hilarious. Someone said, "I'm hyped to see what you got to say about Nick and Tucker." Sorry if today's episode wasn't, like I said, I didn't go too in detail because I was running late on time, but we will go deeper in detail tomorrow. But I gave some of my thoughts on it today, so I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the interview. Someone said, this is a little chain. Someone said, "I think you're a freaking idiot and wish they would stop showing your trash. Candace is your daddy, you foul mouth." First of all, you're a pussy. You're under a fake name. Your username is just a bunch of letters and numbers, you fucking pussy. Second of all, you call me a freaking idiot, but you can't spell. You spelled "you're" wrong. The wrong variation of it. You're a fucking idiot. Someone commented responding to them with the correct variation of "your," and then I wrote "seeth, bitch." And then someone else wrote, "Shut the fuck up. Starting to become clear, Candace does this for the money. She's not America first, she is for Candace." Yep, that is becoming clear. Someone goes, "LMAO." And then someone goes, "Chill, man. He sees Candace is on our team. God, so what's the problem?" Yeah, this guy's fucking retarded. That's the problem. This guy who's commenting is just so fucking painfully stupid that you probably don't have the IQ level to keep up with a show like this. I don't know if you're just stupid, if you're a woman. No, I don't know. You've just got to be retarded. There's no other answer. But appreciate the engagement, though, dumb bitch. But yeah, call me an idiot one more time. See what... Okay. Ugh. We're not going to do that. We're not going to hit anybody. Someone goes, "So Israeli nationals can now just blatantly call for the death of Americans and nothing is done about it. Shows you how in control they really are." Yep. I mean, at least the FBI did start taking it seriously, but it took a immense amount of pressure. And I don't even like the fucking girl. Like, not that we have to like the girl, but I don't even like the girl Morgan, who, like, she's not that great, and she's like anti-Nick in a lot of ways, anti-America first in a lot of ways. So again, I'm not even like a huge fan of that girl. But at the very same time, I'm not going to let a woman just get threatened by an Israeli national and have nobody fucking do anything about it. We can't just let that go unreported, even if we don't like the people. That's the same reason I reported what happened to Josh Hammer, Seth Dillon, Laura Loomer. Like, I fucking hate those people, but I'm not going to allow people's lives to be threatened without us saying anything about it. I appreciate you commenting, appreciate you tuning in. That actually might have been all the comments we had. I thought we had a couple more. Maybe not. Maybe I'm retarded. Let me see. Yeah, that seems to be all the comments we got. Okay, I guess that's going to be the end of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. We are going to sign off for the day. I will have a normal, longer show tomorrow. I will have a regular episode, but like I said, we're running a little late on time. I'm actually, if I end this now in the next 5 minutes, the timing is literally going to be fucking perfect to a T for it to end a couple minutes before the Credo. If you don't know what the Credo is, then go watch Nick's show. You'll learn. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the reactions to a lot of the clips. Hope you guys have watched the interview. If not, we'll be talking about it a lot more tomorrow, so tune in for that. We'll also be talking tomorrow a little bit more about this Lance Twigs thing. I want to see if tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking about a lot of the same topics we talked about today, but even more topics. We're going to be talking about Venezuela, Lance Twigs. I want to talk about what's happening in Israel with this broken ceasefire as we get more information. We'll talk more about the Nick and Tucker thing, not just reacting to clips, but I'll actually just speak right into the camera about my opinions on it, because we already showed all the clip reactions. That's all. I also wanted to do like a little story. I was planning to do it today, but we're coming so close on time. I was gonna do like a story on OnlyFans girls and like how much it's ruining a generation. Because a big part of the interview, I didn't show a clip of it. I didn't get one, but when they talked about how porn should be banned, and porn and OnlyFans specifically, and after that, I was curious. I was like, because they were talking about how girls will like right at 18 go and sign up to do this, and I was curious. I was like, you know, what is an average OnlyFans girl making? You know, is it enough money for them to like justify in their minds, you know, selling your soul completely? And I'll touch on this more tomorrow, but what I found is the average OnlyFans girl in America, and this is not made up, makes between $120 and $180 a month. So they're selling their most intimate parts of their body for fucking nothing. I mean, for, what is that, like $5 a day? Fucking crazy, right? I mean, that's insane. Like, if I had someone in my family, the fuck out of you. Like, if I had someone in my family who started showing their snatch online for $5 a day, you gotta beat the fuck out of those. You gotta, like, even if it's a woman, you gotta hit them. You gotta hit them. If they're in your family, you know, it's not domestic violence then. It's just violence. That's the only, no, again, I'm kidding. I can't condone violence in any way, but Yeah. You guys get what I'm saying. It's like, we can't let these whores keep doing this. And I'm not saying go punch a random OnlyFans girl. I'm just saying, like, if you have a little sister and the day she turns 18, she starts one, clock that. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm sorry. Bad jokes. But I'm going to sign off today. I hope you guys have a blessed day, a blessed night. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please remember to like, smash the follow button, smash the subscribe button. Remember to leave a comment and rate the show 5 stars on Spotify if you enjoy. I appreciate you guys. I'm signing off. Thank you.